but it says St. Louis Rapid and Blitz. When you win a grand, I feel like there should be a tradition from now on. So whenever someone wins the Rapid and Blitz tournament in St. Louis and you get this trophy, I think you should have to drink at the closing ceremony. You should have to fill it up with whatever alcohol you want and just drink it. And hello everybody, how's it going? Evidently I've got the wrong screen, so give me 1 second, chat. All right, there we go. Hope you're all doing very well on this this very fine Sunday, I guess, Sunday afternoon. Is that what it is? Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Hope you're all doing well. All right, let me just make sure everything's good. It's all good. Okay, there we go. So, all right. Thanks everybody. First of all, let me pull this up. I've got my nice big glass of beer to drink. So we've got our beer, of course, to drink. Okay, so we've got our nice big glass of beer. So we have some beer, of course. Thanks everybody for all the support. Let me see if I get through all the subs. Thank you to Tritus for the tier 1. Thank you to Laborg94 for the prime. Thank you to Bot Edgar for the 2 months. Thank you to Jazevo93 for the 4 months. Thank you to King's Gambit 19 for the 3 months. Thank you to Joe2596 for the 4 months. Party Killer 999 for the tier 1. Thank you so much. All right, so right, there are more. Sorry. Thank you to Matey147 for the gifted sub to Atophi. Thank you to Badax99 for the 200 bits. Thank you to Matey147 for the 200 bits. Thank you to Verois for the 4 months. Thank you to Eric0 for the 200 bits. Thank you to Ziwi for the prime. Thank you to Frank Rutten for the 19 months. Thank you to JR Div57 for the 2 months. Thank you to Ajay Arman for the sub with prime. Thank you so much. All right, chat. So how much is in here? It's a little over 4 beers. It's like 4.5 beers. Yeah, all right, chat. So we'll look at the games. What I will say, I'm going to put this out there right up front before we look at the games, before I start drinking too much, so people realize that I'm not joking when I say this. But I honestly felt that today we both played like extremely bad chess, to put it mildly. I felt that Game 3 Magnus came with a great concept. Game 4 was an absolute disaster by both of us, and honestly, I felt that neither of us should have gotten more than $100 for our performance today. I really thought it was extremely bad by both of us, to be quite frank. So yeah, I mean, Magnus was good in Game 3. Game 1 and Game 2, we both put some pressure, and I cracked in Game 1, he cracked in Game 2. But I mean, I thought our performance was by both of us, for lack of a better word, was pathetic. I'm just gonna say that I did not think it was a good performance by either of us. So all right, I thought it was some of the best yet. Shows what I know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Magnus completely messed up the 4th game for no reason. Thank you to Sly Nice Guy for the 1,000 bits. Thank you to Killdeer for the 5 gifted. Thank you to J Parr for the $5. You better get him next time. Thank you to Banter Maximus for the prime. Zoldar Z for the 100 bits. Red Ghost for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you to JB55 for the 2 months. Thank you to Altman for the 300 bits. Thank you to Snorting Milk for the 13 months. Thank you to Snorkel for the 900 bits. Thank you to Suit 8MKR for the 500 bits. Thank you to Juco Piano Forte for the 3 months. Thank you to Chess Bay for the 20 gifted subs as well. Thank you to Sludge412 for the prime. Thank you to It's Toma for the 4 months. SC Keisman for the 2 months. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all the love from you guys. So okay, let's attempt to look at some chess. I mean, maybe I won't even get around to it. Thank you to Expo from Nothing for the prime. Thank you so much. Let's start with game 1. So C4 E5. Thank you to Turnbic Swagger for the 20 gifted subs. Thank you so much to Turnbic Swagger. Thank you to Zero Divisor KSA for the 50 gifted subs. Thank you so much. Thank you to Nickel Farron for the $5 tip. So I only lost $24,995. Oh, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Fromset for the prime. Okay, so we're going to look at the games, chat. So this first game was the English defense. Pretty standard stuff. I had this against let's say it correctly, against Liren Ding in our match in round 6 in the Armageddon game, I think it was. Thank you to Legolas Gorn for the prime. Thank you so much to Dr. Chess Gremlin for the 10 gifted subs as well. Thank you so much. So, all right, chat. So, okay. Yeah, let's keep going. So, knight d5, bishop d5, a3, rook e8. a3 is a different move. In the previous game, I think that Ding played queen a4 against me, queen a4, rook e8, and then it kept going. So this game, Magnus played queen c2. This was all sort of prep. I had looked at this a while ago. And now here, I think this position is supposed to be equal for black after rook e8, but Magnus played king f3, which is a good move. I think I'd looked at knight d6 in the past. Thank you to Temi going for the tier 1. Thank you to Vex Sanguine for the tier 1. Thank you so much. So I think in the past, knight d6 is what I'd looked at briefly. Magnus goes king f3, and this basically should be pretty even here. White's idea is that basically long-term the knight can jump a lot, and this pawn structure is favorable. So he goes rook to b1 here. Goes rook to b1. Now I go rook 2 to e6. Of course, very important move. I don't play this move. White is threatening to play knight d6 and knight e4 here. Well played, Hikaru. Unlucky. I mean, as I said before, chat, I think well played is being way too generous. I felt that we both, especially in the last game, that was a game that was not well played. I think that's being generous, honestly, because I don't think it was nerves. I think honestly most people were just playing terrible chess. So yeah, one second. Sorry, chat. Gotta make this smaller. Let's move this down here. Ugh. Why was I laughing? I was laughing at the stupidity. Ugh. Let's not drop the whole thing. Thank you to Jay Dahlman for the 2 months. Thank you so much. Thank you to Zero Divisor KSA for the gift of sub, to Lynn for C4. All right, chat. So we're going to look at the games. Rook 2 e6 I played. Of course, if I play, like, let's just say, I don't know, h5 here, white is winning after knight to d6, rook e6, knight 2 to e4, and I'm going to lose a rook here. I'm going to lose a rook on e2 or rook on e6, of course. So chug. I'm not chugging something that's 4 beers. Thank you to Zero Divisor KSA for the 9 gifted subs. I'll take one big. Jesus, it's heavy. I'll take one big swig, but that's it. Okay. Okay, and that's good enough for now, chat. I'm not chugging 4 beers, chat. Let's relax. Let's take a deep breath. So anyway, yeah. So I played rook to e6. A4 logical move by Magnus prevents b5 here, of course. Now I played h5. Why is it so big? Well, chat, this is actually, I don't know if you can see it. Can you guys see this on the screen? Can you see it? Can you actually make it out, or is it frosted over? It says St. Louis Rapid and Blitz Tournament 2018. So I got this trophy for winning, and I said if I got 4,000 subs, I would drink out of it. So I'm drinking. How many points for a chug? Chat, I'm not chugging. I'm not chugging. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Thank you to Broken Monitors for the $5. So yeah, so a4 is a good move. It stops b5, because if white plays, let's just say, I don't know, like king g2 or something, after b5, the knight gets removed. It no longer has access, and now I'm going to infiltrate on the second rank, and there's no d6 square either. So at this point, he goes a4, which of course is a good move. I play h5, trying basically to create, first of all, some escape squares for my king, and secondly as well to essentially create more space on this king side. So b4, chug the jug already. Chug the jug. I'm not chugging, chat. I don't really even drink much anymore. This is the first time I'm drinking in like a couple months, really. So I'm not going to chug, because otherwise I'm going to be completely smashed in like 5 minutes. King g7, rook b2. Also, I haven't eaten since like 6 a.m. I had some pasta at 6 a.m. So if I chug this, I'm going to be completely toasted. So I played bishop e7 here. Don't know if this is the best move necessarily, but I figured I want the bishop on this diagonal. On g5, it's kind of aiming at air here. There's nothing really that can be attacked. So this looked good. Thank you, CJ Rubik, for the $5. Thank you. Chug, 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 chug. I'm not gonna chug, but I'm not chugging 4 beers. I mean, in my old days, I could chug 2 beers when I played trivia and we had to have a chug off. But I don't really do that anymore. So let's keep going. So okay, rook c1 is played. I played g5. Peer pressure him into it, dudes. I'm in my 30s. Peer pressure is like, I haven't had peer pressure in like 15 years. G4 played. Rook c2 now played by Magnus. Logical move. He tries to control the second rank and also keep ideas as well towards attacking on the C and B files. So now I go bishop g5. Probably wrong here. I don't know. This seemed right at the time, but I probably should have just played bishop d8 or b6 here. It's very committal playing b6 because the structure doesn't feel quite right here. So I don't know about b6, honestly. It feels, at the time, it felt too loose. It's probably a very good move, but it felt too loose. So I played bishop g5, allowing b6. Now white should be clearly better here. Magnus plays he plays rook b5, which I think is a good move. King g6, f4, which actually f4 is a brilliant move here. Even though I think our play in the match was pretty horrendous, to put it mildly. Oh, maybe h4 is better. Even though I thought our play throughout the match was pretty horrendous, I thought f4 was a brilliant move by Magnus. It's something that I completely overlooked, because after takes king f3, the problem here is in this position, I'm threatening long-term to potentially double the rooks and create mate threats, or check on e2 because this king is very open with my pawn. But f4 is a brilliant move because now I can't move the bishop. If I move the bishop, he just goes f5 check and he wins the rook on e6. So takes, bishop d8. I'm not chugging it, chat. I will drink it, though. I will drink it. This is pretty heavy, though. It's not light. I have to be careful not to drop it. Okay, chat. So big shout out again to the 6,000 people who are watching. Hope you're all doing really, really well. That it's huge. Yeah, it's not like one beer or something. This is a trophy I won in St. Louis. So, chat, let's back up for a second. So when you win a Grand Chess Tour tournament, like the one that I won here, it says, I don't know if you can see it. You guys can't see it, right? But it says St. Louis Rapid and Blitz. When you win a Grand, I feel like there should be a tradition from now on. So whenever someone wins the Rapid and Blitz tournament in St. Louis and you get this trophy, I think you should have to drink at the closing ceremony. You should have to fill it up with whatever alcohol you want and just drink it. You can't see, yeah, because it's like thawed over. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that should be a new tradition. Do curls with it, yeah, but I can't right now. But yeah, I think that should be. So that should be a rule from now on, chat. Is it like whoever wins this trophy, like in St. Louis, or wins one in London, you should have to drink. You should have to fill it up with something and drink out of it. So all right, chat, let's keep going with the game. So here I went bishop f6. He goes rook b2, rook a8. If Ali Reza wins, this is true. If Ali Reza wins, you can't do it. Thank you to 8 or 667 for the prime. Thank you to Ben Reddick FF for the tier 1. Thank you to Zoldar for the 100 bits. Thank you to Omni Perspective for the 500 bits. I'm not drunk yet. So rook takes a4. I mean, but chat, honestly, if you filled this up with like grapefruit juice, that would be pretty gross, honestly. So here Magnus takes, and actually what I didn't realize here is that even though this position is probably a draw with correct play, it's much harder for black to defend because of the pawn structure. White can keep the knight jumping between c4 and e4. So it's very hard to play this position. So rook takes, and actually here I felt like probably from a practical standpoint, even if this is bad, I should have probably played h4 and just prevented him from getting the structure. Because I basically forgot that once Magnus gets the structure, g3 is not a weakness because the knight can jump to e4 and protect the pawn on g3. So in this position, I should have played h4. If I had played h4 here, I think the game probably would have been a draw. I would say like 90% that it would have been a draw if I played h4, because white can't really play g4 here, because now I just go rook, I think I check and go rook d1, and now after rook b3 my king starts running in, and it's just, black is completely fine here. So if I had played h4, I would have drawn this game. Instead, like a clown, I played rook f1. He goes king e2, rook h1, and now after h4 everything is very tricky. It's still probably a draw here, but the problem is that in this position, white can jump the knight around to e4. White can keep the king pretty close, and it's very, very hard to play this, especially with limited time. I think at this point I only had maybe 1 minute left, and he had I think he probably had about 2.5 minutes. So I go rook a1. This is still a draw, of course. But again, the problem here is basically I have to worry about knight c4, rook b5, I have to worry about knight e4, rook b7. There are a couple ideas, and I can't really do a whole lot in this position to prevent it. So I play bishop f6, knight c4, rook a1. Now he goes knight d6, I go king g6. Only move, I think. King e5. Maybe king e5 is okay, so knight e4, king f5. But again, very tricky. So I go king g6, we go rook e1, rook e3. But the problem again is now Magnus very resourcefully plays knight d2. Thank you to Rupert for the $25 tip. Missing some zeros compared to first place prize money, but wanted to say thanks for an amazing tournament, plus the additional entertainment on Twitch. You are helping me through these tough times. Thanks for promoting chess. Thank you so much. So yeah, so like basically at this point, it's always equal, but the problem is it's kind of, you just have to sit and hope that you don't blunder a tactic. Thank you to Daspods for the prime. Thank you to Sedkaran for the prime as well. Thank you so much. So I go rook f5, king e2, rook a5, rook b6, king f5. Thank you to WeRan for the prime as well. King f3, and this is still, of course, very drawish. We reach the same position, I think, here. Rook e1, try to plant the rook on e3. And now knight c4, I go back. Basically same thing. And now here, actually, at this point, it should be a draw. Thank you to Scott the Ancient for the 2 months as well. So bishop e5, active king, rook e6, king f5. And to his credit, in this position, I actually thought after bishop g3, rook h5, king f4, the game was drawn. And I only had like maybe 50 seconds here. But at this point, I missed this annoying move, rook h8, which Magnus played. And here I thought for pretty much all of my time, and I blundered. Sorry, whoops, my bad. Spoiler alert. Leaked. Where was I? Sorry, let's keep going. So, yeah, so rook h8. Basically, I thought at this point it was a draw. I saw rook g5, just rook e1, king d2, bishop h4. This is a draw. Knight g3 is actually what I was worried about. And I thought here I would check and takes king c2 and just like rook h3. And this is also a draw. But to his credit, Magnus here found rook h8 after a fairly deep think. And the position is still drawn, but I couldn't figure it out with the time I had remaining. So if you guys go back, thank you to Calcabear for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much to Calcabear. Thank you as well for the 100 bits. So at this point, I thought essentially that it was drawn. Then he found this rook h8 move, and once rook h8 is played, you're like, oh, it's like, you know, pardon my French, but it's like, oh shit, I'm in some trouble here. So at this point, what did I play? Yeah, I played rook e1, king d2, rook e3, h5. Wait, no, wait a second. What did I do wrong? Wait. No, here, what did I see? Right, no, the move here was, oh no, rook e1 was right. Wait a second. What did I do wrong here? Bishop e1, king c2, rook h3, h6. And now I played king f5, which I think it's already lost. Wait a second. Is it really lost after rook h8? I thought there was a draw here. No, I think king g4. Or no, king g4, h5. Maybe it's already lost. So maybe to his credit, Magnus found the best move here. But the thing is, like, at this point, I was sure that I was drawing, and I missed rook h8. This rook h8, rook e8 idea. And basically, when that's coming, it's just even if there's some special draw in here, it's just, I mean, with 10 seconds on the clock, there's no way you can draw the position. Thank you to Rishi Complex for gifting 2 subs to the community. Thank you so much. So at this point, probably there's some way to draw this, I'm sure. Like, no, maybe it's king f3. This is what I saw. Because h6, you have bishop f4. Oh, but maybe it's just losing anyway. No, knight g3 or just takes and rook d8. No, this is technically lost. Because rook e5, rook d4, rook h5, and rook e4, king f3, and rook e8. And of course, rook e8 or rook a4, both moves are winning. And the king is completely cut off from the e file. This is just a theoretical win. Thank you to Matey147 for the 100 bits. TTS today. Unlikely. I mean, chat, like in terms of, let me put it this way. So people are probably like, why am I in such a good mood instead of being in such a like lousy mood? And the reason that I'm not in a really, really bad mood is because I felt that we both just played bad chess today. I did not think we played good chess. And, I think when I look at the match overall, there was game 3 where Magnus played well. He came up with a good opening concept that I blundered. But otherwise, I felt we both just played, just bad chess, honestly. So it's kind of hard to really be upset because it didn't feel like there was like, it just felt like one of those sort of blah things. Magnus thought we played well. Oh, I thought we both played horribly. Goes to show. I thought Magnus, especially in game 4, he played ridiculously in the middle game, and then I even played worse in the end game. So game 4, I thought especially was not good. Maybe it was good overall, but I didn't feel it was good. So it's just a game. No, it's not that it's just a game, but it just felt very blah kind of. So after h6 already, I have big problems. Maybe it's already gone, honestly, because white's just going to push the pawn, move the rook, and make a queen. And I can't really get my king behind the pawn. If I go king g4, or actually it's already too late, but if I play like king g4, h6, king h5, h7, king g6, white goes knight f6 here. Or I guess knight g5 is cleaner here. And basically the problem is rook g8 is coming. White's going to make a queen. And this is already GG. So I played rook h3. It's basically the same thing. Rook g8 takes, knight f6. King h6, rook h8, king g6, takes. And basically the only thing white has to do is make sure that when he captures the pawn, there is not a king opposition here. Sorry. So king b3 brings the king in. He plays rook f3, rook f8. And again, the only thing that white has to do here is that white just has to exchange the rook for the pawn in a position where I can't meet his king on d4 with the king on d6. So he goes king c6 here. I played bishop e3, the final blunder. I can still go king e7. But I think after rook f4, bishop e3, he plays rook e4. If I go to the f file, this would be like the game. Thank you to Nicomancer BC for the 5 months. He goes king d5, and now he just takes, and this is obviously completely winning. King c5 with d4 and king d5, and white is winning the game here. And if I go king d8, surely there's something like, this must be winning quite easily. Probably rook h4, king e7, and now king d5. Wait, no, this is maybe not so easy. This should just be winning on the spot somehow. Not sure, but why did I lose? Because I played worse than he did. I mean, he had one good game, and the rest was pretty sloppy, I felt. He had one good game. Game 3, I thought Magnus played well. Games 1 and 2, I thought were pretty sloppy. Game 4 was just, I have no words for game 4. I thought it was really, really bad. So yeah, there's probably some way for white to win here. But in the game, I just blundered this. Obviously, I played bishop e3, which allows rook e8. Now, after the king goes here, rook e4. Game 1 wasn't sloppy, but game 1 should have been a draw. I mean, game 1, I was sloppy. Game 2, he was sloppy as well. We were both very sloppy. Like, game 1, I should have drawn this game pretty routinely if I go h4 instead of rook f1. And then in game 2, Magnus should have drawn quite easily, and he completely messed it up as well. So we both made some very, very bad choices. So, yeah. Okay, so this first game, of course, at the end of the game, let me just go back to the end again. Here I resigned, of course, in lieu of the fact that my king is cut. If my king was on the d file, I could meet the opposition. Here I cannot. So king f6, king d5, king f7, white just takes the pawn. After takes, king d4, king e6, king c5 again. The king and pawn ending, which is completely winning for white here. Magnus said he missed queen a3 in game 2. I mean, I thought the whole thing in game 2 was very sloppy. I thought he also could have played g takes f5 too. I'm drinking beer like it's scotch. I don't really drink anymore, chat, so I can't like just chug. Okay, so that was game 1, which I lost. Let's move on to game 2. So game 2, I was white. Let's keep going. So, okay, d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, knight c3, bishop e7. And here Magnus decided to be funny and play the queen's gambit declined against me. Of course, I had been playing this the whole event. And I had to think for quite a while here because I wasn't sure if I should play c5 or not. So c5, knight h5, bishop d3, takes, b6, b4, a5, a3, c6, castles, bishop a6. All standard theory. Queen e2, we trade, g6, rook f c1. And so chat, I have to ask you guys in chat, since I assume most of you are watching on the broadcast, did my good friend Alexander Grishuk by any chance mention the fact that we had this position or something very similar to this in a game before? Thank you to Anonymous Gifter for the gifted sub to Omni T. Thank you to You Blazing for the 1,000 bits. Thank you to Celtic Frost for the 1 month. Sasha did, so okay, chat. So basically at this point, not at this point, sorry, but this is a general theme with chess and top-level chess, is that very often a lot of what your basis is for playing moves is based on previous games you've had in positions or very similar pawn structures. So thank you to Backover Bonner for the prime. So they were talking about my Kramnik game. Okay, so basically this whole line, my inspiration behind playing Rook C1 and Rook B1 was that I vaguely remembered my game against Sasha from, I believe it was the European Club Cup in 2015. So my inspiration for this was that I remember during the game I had that, that aha moment where it's like, okay, Sasha did this, I have to play like Sasha because, Sasha's the greatest chess player of all time, and the greatest commentator of all time as well. So queen c7, hitting the pawn, I played g3. Now he trades and plays queen b7, rook b1, rook a3, queen c2. So yeah, basically the whole idea behind putting the rooks on b1 and c1 was to basically be like my man Sasha, because at this point I'm already down a point in the match, and I thought, you know what, Sasha did this against me. If Sasha did it, it has to be like it's got to be solid. Thank you to Dr. Speedy for the tier 1. Sasha and a tie is just wrong. Yeah, the match was fine. I lost the match 2.5, 1.5. Again, I didn't feel the play was fabulous, but it was something. So rook a8, king g2. Now I played bishop f6 here. I played knight e2. I think in my game against Sasha, maybe Sasha played an early knight e5. It was something very similar to this. Wasn't completely sure what it was. Sasha liked this game. I mean, I remember when Sasha and I played our game in I think it was 2015 or 2014. I don't know when it was. I remember we had a fairly animated discussion after the game. Thinking of Mango Dove for the tier 1, and Sasha was basically trying to argue that white is much, much better. Well, no, Chad, I know it was 2014 or 15 because Fabiano had already started running up his rating. It was like 2850. So it had to have been 2014. Let's see, European Club Cup. Let me see if I can pull up the game quickly, chat. Thinking of Mad goes for the 12 months. 2015. Yes, 2015, chat. Let's pull this up. Okay, let's see. Let's pull this up. Come on, chess games. Let's load. Thank you to MyPie for the 9 months. Okay, so let's wait for it to load. Dumb. Oh, come on. Let's go. Okay, here we go. So it's loading. So let's take a look. Okay, so I will scroll ahead. Oh, no, this is the wrong game. Wait, no, this is the wrong game. Sorry. Let me see. Maybe it's 2014. Maybe it's 2014. Let's see. I think it was 2014. Where's Alexander Grishuk? 4.5 out of 6. No, that's not what I want. Let me see this. 4.5 out of 6 games. There we go. 1 second. Yes, here we go. Grishuk versus Nakamura. Here we go. Let's load it. Okay, let's see. So how right am I? So basically in the game against Grishuk, chat, I think you guys can still see it. Thank you to Machiavelli for the $3 tip. What Sasha did was he didn't put the bishop on d3. He put the bishop on e2 instead of d3. So it's very similar, of course. And, but he did kind of put the rooks on c1 and b1. So it's actually very similar. This actually is very similar to the game that I had against Sasha in terms of the pawn structure and where the rooks end up on the board. So what was this? Yeah, so actually this is extremely close to my game today. Of course, the configuration is slightly different. But Sasha was my inspiration for this game because during the game I realized that I had a very similar structure. And so I just figured, you know what, Sasha's such a legend anyway, and the fact that I could have the chance to play something very similar certainly made me quite happy. So I played knight e2. Again, it's slightly different, of course. I have the rook on c1 here, but the knights are on e2 and f3. Rook is on b1. It's very much the same structure. So rook a2, queen d1, trade. Now I go rook c2. Now Magnus trade here. I don't think he understood understood's the wrong word. I think he underestimated the ideas with knight d3 and knight e5 here. So trades, rook b8, trade, knight c1. At this point, I was very happy with the position because I can put the knight on e5. I can also play h4, h5 here. And it feels very, very good for white. So I was very pleased at this point. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. Grishuk says he has trouble guessing my moves as opposed to Magnus's. What do you think about that? I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. Not sure. 45K on cruise line stocks. Let's go. I don't know about that, chat. I mean, maybe I'll just bet it on Amazon or something. But okay, so I played queen c3, and here Magnus played h5, which is actually a very poor move by Magnus. I thought at this point white is clearly better, but if black cuts the a file and he basically prevents me. So let's say I go queen b3 here. You'll notice I can't take the a file here, and at the same time I also cannot take the b file because the knight guards b8 and the queen guards b7. So if he plays queen a6 here, I think that at this point it's completely fine for black. So he played h5, which is a very ugly move because it creates structural weaknesses long term. And after queen a3, I think already it's very, very hard for black to play, even though objectively it still should be a draw. Thank you to Space Monkey for the 2 months. Thank you so much. So at this point he goes king g7. I go knight e5. Again, it's important not to put this knight here because when I put this knight here, if he ever trades and I get this capture, the knight comes to g5. Whereas if I put this knight, this knight here, after takes, this knight on d3, I mean, you can attack the pawn, but it's not on the right square to create real threats against black's king here. So why not flag him like Stockfish? Because we were playing with increment. He said he missed queen a3. Okay. I mean, again, I think that plays to what I said. Like, I know people are saying we played good chess, but I honestly felt in this match we were both missing stuff left and right. I mean, maybe it was good, but it just, to me, it just felt like I was playing. I mean, not I, but both of us were just playing kind of a little bit blah. So takes queen e2. Of course, Magnus finds the best move here. I was very upset that he found this because I thought at this point I might be winning if he didn't see the stupid idea with queen e4 and g5. Much to my chagrin, he did see it, so I played knight g5 here. It's amazing that if I go queen a7 here, there's an incredible resource, which is black can play queen e4 here. And after queen d7, black is g5, which is an incredible resource, which just saves the game for black, basically. Almost 7,000 showed up for the beer. Yeah, I think we had like a little over 7,000 a few minutes ago. Did I feel like I was playing in an outer body today? No, I felt like I felt like I'm playing well. I mean, that's the main thing. I felt like I was playing well. I didn't feel out of body at all. Thank you to Chair78 for the tier 1. Thank you again to Brandon655R for the tier 2. Thank you so much. I'm sure Magnus saw this too, of course. So played knight g5, queen g4, h4. And at this point, I was very optimistic because even though I think that the draw is still plausible for black, the margin of error becomes extremely thin here for black in terms of drawing. So he goes knight f8, which is, of course, the best move. Queen d3. Now, Magnus played queen f5, and I traded. I don't know if I should trade here or not. I had a feeling after takes, if black plays gf5, I think it's probably a draw. Actually, maybe it's an easy draw. Wow. Thank you to Oxy Orum for the 15 months. Thank you so much. Yeah, actually, this isn't even trying. It's just an easy draw for black. And one of the reasons this is an easy draw is that if we ever reach a king and pawn endgame, I think this is... Or wait, no, maybe this is... No, sorry, king f3, black can go knight g6. And now f4 is always a problem because the pawn chain is weak. And after knight h3, I think just f6, and you'll notice black is actually getting e5. Maybe white has to be careful not to lose here with e5 coming in to break up everything for white. So I thought gf5 was a draw. I was very happy to see ef5 because I thought now it becomes very hard here because a lot of this position becomes about horizon and seeing where the kings end up. So for example, if black plays knight e6, this actually loses amazingly because takes. And now the key move here is to not go king f4, but it's to go king e3. And the point being that I'll just show this to you guys. So let's say we reach this position. Black's king gets to b7, and this is a draw. Easy draw for black, no issues. But the point is that after king e3, king f7, now I say, haha, fooled you, and I go the other way, and I invade on g5. And after king g7, king f8, king g5, king g7, I play f4, and black has to yield to h7 or f7, and white wins. So maybe this is a problem with ef5 is that it's very, very hard to play, and if you can't play knight e6 and you have to go f6, this should be winning for white, I think, after king e3 here, because knight d7, knight f3, and now you'll notice again, this is the problem with black structure is that there is Swiss cheese here. The king is coming in, or the knight is coming into e5 or g5, and it should be winning technically, I think. So here Magnus goes knight b, king e6, knight e1. Very important move, by the way, chat, because the point here is that with the knight, if you think about it optically, what is the perfect square for the knight here? So in a perfect world, you want to be able to go this way, but you also want to be able to go this way as well. So knight e1 is a really, really good move here. Thank you to Bobby Slidell for the prime, because the knight can go either way, basically. And this is probably just winning for white, I think. Why not f4? Well, I play f4 later on. So I played knight d3, king f6. Now I went f4. I didn't really want to play f4, but what I realized during the game is that if I try to go knight e5, he goes g5, and if I take, he takes. And now on f4, king h6, the problem with trying to run all the way over and capture the pawn, it might be winning anyway, is that after king d3, black can play h4. G takes h4, king h5, and now black actually starts to get counterplay when my king is running. And maybe it's still winning anyway with correct play, but it's very tricky. So that's why I played f4 to shut down the king side, and now they're permanently going to be weaknesses on c6 and g6. Knight d7, knight e5, important move, knight f8. If Magnus trades here, I take, and this is actually winning because now again the Swiss cheese comes into play. King e7, king g5, and now I go e6, takes, and something is going to fall, and with it I'm going to make some queens on the board. So it's just winning. So Magnus goes knight f8 here, trying to keep knights on the board and hope for some counterplay. Takes, king e6, knight e5 again. Put the knight on the best square. Keep an eye on the pawn g6. Whoa! Thank you to Caleb Blowery for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much. So yeah, I thought this was this is just winning king d3 again. Only thing here again to be careful about is to not give him counterplay where he jumps and gains a ton of pawns here on the king side. So I went knight d3. I don't know if this is the best move. Knight d7, knight b4. Do I take a sip every sub donor? No, I don't, but that's a funny concept. So knight b4 again. I want to make sure that black can bring the knight in to attack the only weakness in my position, which is the pawn on g3. That I'll win the pawn on d5 and get 2 connected passed pawns. And he also can't really bring the king to support it without losing pawns. So, okay, so he does this. Thank you to Blazing for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you so much. Okay, so he went knight f6. I went king b3. He goes king b7. Now I went king a4. Again, if he wants to go knight e4, that's fine, but he's going to lose the pawn on d5. So I take king b5. Again, I've got to use the pawns before black has time to try and capture f4 or h4. Knight e4, king b6, threatening. Let's say black goes, I don't know, knight f2. I make a check. King d8, I go c7, takes, and I make a queen. And now I'm just winning. So here, after king b6, Magnus went knight d6, and now I played knight e7, and Magnus resigned in lieu of the fact that after king d8, I just take, knight c4, king b7, knight d6, and I go king b8, and basically black's just going to lose because the pawn is much too fast here on c6. So I won this game, which tied the match at 2, so let's keep moving on to game 3. And this game, I'm going to actually show something else at some point. So we played the same thing. Queen's Gambit declined. Takes, c5, takes, a6, knight g5. And here I blunder with b5. Now, it's very important to note one thing. So, again, coming back to the theme of looking at games that you've played or remembering structures and whatnot, it's very important to remember that this structure where white gets the 4v2 in the center, and there are very few pawns. Like, you've got A and B, but white can create a big pawn center with 4 pawns here. So even though you have 2 pieces for the rook, the 4 pawns are very tricky. And so without further ado, I'm actually gonna actually find another game of mine from 2017. It's not quite the same, but you guys will understand what I'm getting at, which is this game that I lost to Mr. Big Fish himself, Vladimir Fedoseev, in the FIDE World Cup in 2017. Waiting for the board to load. Give me 1 second. So you'll notice in this game it's kind of similar. What happens is that you'll see the pawn structure is a little bit different here in that it's a 5v3, but you'll notice a lack of ability in the center with the pawns to push ahead. So it's very similar where white has a rook and 2 pawns for a bishop and a knight, but the pawn structure is such that black can't really attack it at all. And for that reason, this is very good for white. And I did go on to lose this game against Fedoseev in the World Cup. But black has lost here as well. Yes, I get that. But the point that I'm making, chat, is that there are certain structures or certain ideas where pawn structures and a rook for 2 pieces make a lot of sense. So it's a little bit different, but it's still kind of the same thing. So let's keep going back to this game. So, okay, b5, of course, is a very bad move. But I don't know, when he played this, I just assumed that this is probably okay for me. But it's actually not okay, I guess. Or maybe queen e8 is okay. And if he takes, I guess I take. I was still worried about knight d5 here. No, okay, computer's insane. Yeah, this is still fine for white. And this is one thing, chat, that I'm going to add, is that a lot of these sorts of positions are very tricky because computers kind of have changed what us humans thought for a long time, was that 2 pieces are better than a rook and a pawn or a rook and 2 pawns. But nowadays, computers have shown that the material does matter, and rook and pawns are generally better than 2 pieces. And that's just like a Leela Alpha Zero thing. They've really proven it. Humans in many cases can't prove it when we play each other, but computers certainly can prove it. How's it going, Vita Chaz? Hard luck. You almost had him in the fourth game. Exciting finale nonetheless. Thank you. I mean, if I played H4, I would have won, but I mean, he messed it up much earlier, so it happens. Okay, so I played Queen E7, takes, Magnus found knight E4. Very nice move, and now, you see, even here, like, the basic computer still doesn't understand just how bad this is for black. Thank you to Grizzly Poo for the tier 1. Thank you so much. Eat something, I'll eat later. So I played bishop b7. Of course I can't take the knight because then queen d5, king h8, queen a8, and I mean, white has 2 rooks, he's got 2 pawns. My pieces lack coordination, and it's very, very hard to play. So now I want bishop b7. Takes. I take, of course, not knight c5, because after knight c5, bishop d6, it's oopsie daisies. Queen c8, rook c1, and just GG basically here. Can we see the cup? It's fairly big. It's a cup I won in 2018. I mean, it's decent sized. It's not small. But yeah, so this is of course losing for black. So that's why queen c5, rook c1, queen d5, and here Magnus found. You know, I've been very critical of our play. I felt our play throughout the match was not exactly fabulous, but I thought Magnus playing f3 here was a brilliant move. Probably, I think, the best move of the match that he played, because it's a very good move in that Magnus understood that even though he loses his pawn in a2, objectively the 2-on-1 does not really matter. And once white creates this pawn chain, g2, f3, e4 here, the queen side is not really a factor. So sacking the pawn with f3 and just understanding that e4 gives white a very nice pawn structure and long-term compensation was very good, and Magnus saw this. So you know, much credit to him for finding this. Oh, do we have a Twitter? Do we have a Twitter of it? Sorry, do we have a Twitter? Let me pull this up. What is this? There we go, chat. There we go. Here's your picture. Oh, is this? Yeah, this is it, chat. So I don't have the cover because this picture that you guys see was taken, and they mailed me a trophy like 7 months later, and there was no cover. So I don't actually have a cover for this. I just received the trophy. But who cares? I'm still drinking anyway. But yeah. Wait, Chad, am I wearing the same shirt? Oh my gosh. I'm wearing the same freaking shirt too. That's disturbing. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm wearing the same shirt though. That's comical. Okay, okay, that's really messed up. But anyway, whatever. That's pretty messed up. Yeah, that's pretty bad, chat, to put it mildly. As you can see, though, obviously, I'm going to be a fashionista for a second. Before we get back to the chess, you can tell, like, okay, I mean, I look kind of weird. I mean, the hair is not as silky and smooth like it is now because I didn't have Paul Mitchell at that time. The jacket, I don't think was mine. I had to borrow a jacket from somebody who's, like, much bigger than me. So you'll see the jacket is really hanging down, and also you can see this, like, this logo, whatever it is. So, yeah, not fabulous, but yeah, jacket is oversized. Yeah, because I had to borrow a jacket from someone else with the Grand Chess Tour. So yeah. All right, chat. Let's get back to the game. So I played knight f8 here, rook f2, rook c8. Trade. No, it wasn't my dad's jacket, chat. I think I had to borrow the jacket from Graham Jurgensen, if I'm not mistaken, who was the Grand Chess Tour coordinator. How old was I? Well, chat, how old do you think I was 2 years ago? Do you think I was like 19, 20 maybe? How old do you guys think I was 2 years ago? I was 18, yes. I was 18. I was barely legal 2 years ago. Thank you, chat. Much love, much love. All right, chat. So 2 years ago, I was 30. Thank you to Pepper B-Man for the tier 1. Yeah, I was 30 because I'm 32. I'm like practically dead. Thank you to Pepper B-Man for the tier 1. Thank you to 2Dark22 for the $5. Thank you so much. Sasha didn't like rook c8. Yeah, so, you know, at this point, it's very hard to figure out what the right idea is. I thought objectively here, my idea should be to trade the rooks and try to eventually bring the pieces in if I can keep queens on the board. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's rook e8, but again, chat, one thing that happened a lot in this match specifically that doesn't normally happen is there were a lot of positions, a lot of imbalances that we reached that in a classical game would not be so relevant because both sides would be able to figure out the ideas with an hour on the clock. But in these games, there are a lot of very nuanced sort of ideas where in rapid chess, whoever is trying to find the best moves has trouble finding them because they're not obvious. You have to come up with ideas. It's not, like here, it's not so obvious when I'm playing. Am I doing this? Am I trying to keep pieces on the board? What exactly is the idea? So I played rook c8. The idea was I thought, okay, I trade some rooks. Conceptually, I have the 3v1, and he's got a passive rook. Now, in retrospect, it was probably wrong. Grishak said bishop b4 a bit later on was the best move of the match. No, I think f3 was the best move. Because, Magnus had a deep foresight. Because it's very easy to just trade and just go bishop g3 and argue that you can also activate the pawns here. So, to me, I thought f3 was a fantastic move. I thought it was better than bishop b4 objectively. But, again, it's kind of hard to understand, what exactly is best. But I thought f3 was just a classy move. Just really, really classy. So let's keep going. Knight f8, rook f2, rook c8. Again, playing rook e8 is fine, but it's very hard. In a classical game, I'll give you guys. Let's assume that in this position I have 1 hour to think about the position. I'll give you how I would approach this position. So first of all, I think okay, I can play rook c8, try to trade rooks. Is that a good thing? White only has a queen and a rook on the board. He doesn't have a queen and 2 rooks. Is that good? Is that bad? Then beyond that, let's say, well, okay, I've got a 2-on-1 on the queen side, so I want to push the pawns up the board. Can I do that easily? I can't really push my A or my B pawn because, of course, white's going to go rook c7 and sauce me on g7 or b7. So, okay, I can't really use the pawn majority. So, okay, of course, I might want to trade the rooks. We've already decided that's one idea that makes sense. So now, if I can't push the pawns and I want something else besides rook c8, what are other ideas? I can't move the queen, because rook c7 is coming. b3 is a very big threat to kind of trap my queen. Why did I run away after game 1? I went to go use the restroom chat. So chess is a very stressful game, and usually in between the games you run to the restroom. It's pretty common. So yeah. Okay, so I played rook c8. Now let's think. Okay, so computer says rook e8 is good or queen e6 is good. Again, as a human, it's very hard to play a move like this because after rook d2, it looks like you're getting absolutely slaughtered on the C and D files. I drank a trophy full of beer before game 1 too. No, chat. No, I postponed this specifically for today for you guys because I knew honestly, I could have played, I'll give you an example. If I played horrendous chess and lost 3.5 half or something, I probably wouldn't be streaming right now. But because the match was very mediocre, in my opinion, I'm not that upset. Thank you, Light 98 for the tier 1. Appreciate it. I'm drinking it all. Of course I'm drinking it all. Don't doubt the Warlord. Come on. But yeah, so basically, I thought this was very dangerous. I thought the rooks are coming in. Computers basically just laugh in your face at anything. And they're like, who really cares? I can just go computer just says rook e8 and it just laughs at you. It says white is better, but computers just they basically just laugh and they're like, ha, ha, ha. Whereas I'm sure, thank you to Gabriel Mille for the 10 months. Thank you so much. Whereas I'm sure if you gave this position to humans with no computers looking at it, even Sasha would be he'd be laughing, be like, well, white's completely winning. Surely there's some rook c7, some rook d6. Somehow white's completely winning here. So again, this is where you see the difference between humans and computers. Humans, you just see the D files, and a computer just sees, well, who really cares? I don't care. Was it really you and Voyboy stream this morning? Yes, Panda TTC. So I woke up fairly early. I wanted to drop in on a couple of streams before I started playing the match. So I was in Hearthstone streams, a StarCraft streamer, for a little bit, and I also was in Voyboy's stream for 5 to 10 minutes. I played 2 quick bullet games against Voyboy. So yeah, I played Voyboy earlier this morning. I don't know if anybody has a clip. Let's see, is there a clip? I guess you guys can go to Voyboy's channel and see if there's a clip of it. But it was at 8:30 or something. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. If anyone in chat goes to his channel, maybe you can find it. Sasha said he was rooting for you. Magnus is always going to be the favorite no matter what. So in general, I feel like chess players are always going to root for whoever is the underdog for the most part. So let's keep going. So rook f2, I played rook c8. Maybe there's something better. Trade Voy Boy, yes, the famous League of Legends grandmaster himself. I played a couple of games of bullet chess against him this morning. He also was apparently 1400 at chess when he was 10 years old. So big shout out to Voy Boy. He's probably fast asleep because he was streaming until like 10 a.m. So yeah. Queen e6 played. Sasha said, I don't know if it's allowed on Chess24 to root for you. Sasha's such a character. I mean, I love I don't know what it is these days in chess, honestly, but in chess, for some reason, it's all the Russian dudes who are completely cracked out of their minds. It's like Dubov is an original thinker, and Sasha is a completely original thinker, and like Morozevich is another guy who's very very original. Nepo is sometimes original, sometimes he's just insane, but like it's all these Russian guys who they aren't like the square pegs in the round holes. They're the guys who are always like thinking outside the box. So yeah, so like Dubov and Sasha are like two of my favorite guys, honestly. I really I mean I love both those guys. They're amazing. So bishop d6, I played queen e8 again. Magnus just showed much better understanding of the structure and the long-term trumps here. He traded and he found bishop b4, which is an excellent move by Magnus. I mean, this is probably the other move that I would say was absolute class for Magnus in this game, because at this point, when you look at it on first glance, it's like, okay, black has a bishop and a knight for a rook and a pawn. Bishop b4 just stops the pawns from ever moving. Thank you to Interactive Chess for the tier 1. Thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, this was just pure class from Magnus, finding bishop b4. I think f3 and bishop b4, these were the two best moves in the match for sure. Like, it's hard to explain it to someone who's not a super grandmaster, just how good this move is, but it's just an incredible move. So, I mean, I played knight e6 rook d2. Yeah, well, I mean, Chad, I'll give you another example. So, like, I'll give you another example. So this is, I'll give you another example. This is probably way too dank for most of chat. So let me pull this up. Okay. Let me move this here. So this is probably too dank for most of chat to understand, but I'm gonna pop it up anyway. Let me play around with this a little bit. So I'm going to use another game for an example. So I'll give you another example from the game of Go. So there's this really brilliant move. Okay, let me scroll up here. So there's called the ear-reddening move from the game of Go. Sorry, chat. I'm really messing this up. Let me adjust this correctly. So you have what is called this the famous ear-reddening move in Go as well, which was played. There was this game in 1822 that was played between Shusaku and Inseki. And there's this really, really good move that read the Japanese. Read the Japanese. It's a Joseki. So we're talking about the game of Go, of course. So there's what's called the ear-reddening move. So if I scroll down, you'll see there's this move where you put the stone right down here where the red circle is, and it's basically let me see if I can scroll over slightly. How do I do it? I guess let me. Sorry, chat. This is very dank, but whatever. You have to deal with me for 1 second. Let me move this down here. So you'll see this move here. What it leads to is it leads to this position on the very right here. Definitely too dank. Yeah. So, well, okay. We could talk about Lee Sedol's move as well. Of course, move 76. I think it was 76 or 75 in the match against Alpha Zero. But like, this is another example of a move that is pure brilliance. So I understand the basics of why it was 78. Okay, I understand the basics of why this move is played. But this move is such a brilliant move because of what it leads to with all the permeations down here in the bottom right. And in chess, it's the exact same thing. Dan Clearin. Yeah, exactly, chat. So anyway, I just thought I'd point that out, that like, it's one of those things, if you're not a serious chess player, you're not really going to understand. But it's one of those things that is just like, I mean, brilliance, just absolute brilliance. So as much as people like to say that, I hate Magnus and all this all this other crap, for lack of a better word. You know, 1 second. Sorry, let me move this here. Obviously, that's not true. So I do give credit where credit is due. So yeah, all right, chat. So wait, sorry, 1 second. Okay, so all right, chat. So we keep going. Yeah, Bishop B4 was so obvious. It's the most obvious move of all time. But no, Bishop B4 was a very brilliant move, and honestly, a lot of credit to Magnus for finding these moves. It's so brilliant. Show the move to XQC. Yeah, chat. Yeah. Okay. To give Sasha credit, he was also very complimentary. Yeah, Bishop B4 is a brilliant move by Magnus, honestly. So I played knight e6, and around this point I started to realize there's a lot of danger here. White's got a really nice pawn structure. Rook d2, king f7, king f2. Played knight f6, king e3, g5. Again, the problem here is that even though I've got the 2v1 on the queen side, I can't use the pawns to activate here. Because this bishop on b4 just stops everything. So I played g5. Magnus went rook d6. Played knight d7. Again, trying to create some stuff like knight e5, maybe knight b6. Out of context, lol. Thank you, Arun Core, for the prime. You know, the point I was going to make, though, is like the ear-reddening move, or the move of God by Lee Sedol against Alpha Zero. Like, if you don't really understand a game fundamentally, you can't really appreciate it. But there's some of these moments that are just like pure brilliance. Did he out-prepare me? I mean, I just underestimated the danger behind the sack. I underestimated the long-term ideas, basically. So yes, and I wouldn't say that he out-prepared me, but he understood the structure better than I did. So I have no qualms saying that. So g3, knight e5. Again, white has the 4 pawns. He wants to just create 2 pawns in the center and win b3, of course, to stop the fork on c4. Now I go h5. Really, the only way that black can probably draw this game here would be to exchange all the kingside pawns, or as much of them as I can. So I play h4, or he played h4, which I don't know if h4 is the best move. It felt a touch loose optically. I felt that white could have been maybe... Yeah, I thought bishop e1 here was maybe a little bit more human, just because f4... I mean, if I go knight g6, yes, it's probably stopping f4, but it also feels very passive, and I thought after rook c6, white surely is winning here somehow. Again, maybe a computer could defend this with correct play. With correct play, but it's very, very hard, especially in a game where you don't have much time on your clock. So I mean, I thought h4 was a touch loose, because if Magnus miscalculates this even slightly, there are serious ideas where if I can win this pawn on h4 and trade off a knight for a bishop, it could be a draw. So Magnus plays bishop e1, and now I played a5, and actually here, I blundered, basically. I should have gone knight f4, and I don't know how winning this is for white. It's probably winning after bishop g3, but I still don't know. If I go back... I'm sure that Alpha Zero will say something. Stock Dink 10 could easily defend. Yes, chat. Stockfish or Leela would defend. Again, we are humans. We are not computers, which is why we don't play these machines, because they would absolutely just wreck us every game. I mean, if I played Stockfish or Magnus played Stockfish, we would both look like XQC. I mean, we would just get absolutely destroyed every game. Void Boy is so encouraged. He says he's going to beat you. Yeah, I mean, I was chatting with Joe earlier, so I'll probably do something with Void Boy. I'll do some kind of chess, League of Legends, something. Thank you to Zach GM for the 2 months. 45k is 1/1000th of the way to 45 million. Thank you so much, appreciate it. I'll do something with Void Boy in League and chess at some point. I'm kind of starting to watch some more leagues than usual, so I'll do something. But yeah, so I don't know. It felt to me that bishop playing this h4 kind of lends itself to some possible swindles here, but of course Magnus found rook d5, and actually the problem is, as I realized during the game, is that I miscalculated that I forgot that after knight f4 here, white can just play, not rook g5, sorry, white goes rook f5, and this is actually a winning king and pawn endgame. A4 takes, bishop c3, actually bishop b4 is better to stop the pawn. After bishop h3, white goes king e5, and the problem here is that white can march the 2 pawns up the board, so let's just make a couple of moves. Bishop h3, f5, king f7, king f4. Bishop f1, e5, and now after bishop c4, e6, white is winning. So if I take, king g5, white wins because the bishop is the right color for the pawn. And if I don't take, let's say I just go king f6, check, king e7, king e5, f6, f7, bishop b4, and that's GG. So that's all she wrote. So yeah, so a4 is what I played. Again, I thought that originally this was fine because after rook b5, I can go knight g2, takes knight d4, and this is not clear at all. I'm not actually sure if white is winning here after rook h5, knight f3, and knight d4. I mean, maybe it's winning, but it's very tricky. There are a lot of swindle possibilities. It's 3v1, but I'm going to win the pawn on b3. So at this point, this is not clear. But as I mentioned, unfortunately, there's rook f5 and just takes, and you just resign. What am I doing at 5K subs? I don't know. Thank you, BX2, for the 2 months. Thank you so much. What do you guys want at 5K? Maybe if you guys have some ideas. I mean, obviously, I can't do IRL anything because we're all stuck inside. But if you guys have ideas, no, chat. I couldn't do that anyway because it's illegal in the state of Florida. But Overwatch with XQC. Thank you to Bitcoin Boy for the Prime. Thank you so much. Overwatch with XQC would be a lot of fun, actually. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. Honestly, for me, like, I want to play Monopoly, though. I want to play Monopoly with XQC and Hassan and Moxie and all those guys. That's actually what I kind of want to do. But yeah, Hand and Brain with XQC, maybe. XQC doesn't know how to play play Overwatch, yeah. So anyway, okay, so rook d5, I played a4 here. He takes. Again, I'm trying again to use this exchange, like takes. One less pawn on the queen side. So now if I can ever win some of the pawns here on the king side, I'll probably be able to draw the game. So Magnus, to his credit, plays rook h5. I play knight ef4. Again, same problem. If I go knight f4, the same thing. White just takes. And it's actually very similar to the game. This would be a completely winning position. So I go knight ef4. He goes rook g5. I take h5. Now I try to get tricky with knight f8. I don't think Magnus actually saw knight f8 during the game, but it doesn't change the outcome. Bishop c3. If king f4 here, white loses because knight e6. King g4 takes, and now b2, and I make a queen. So he goes bishop c3. I play b4. If white takes on b4, I go b2 and b1. So bishop b2, knight e6. Now he goes rook f5, and we reach this endgame. And on the spot, I had very little time, so I was sure that it was probably a draw, or not a draw, sorry, that it's winning for white. But I thought, you know what? I don't really have anything else going on. From a practical standpoint, if there's some trick, I can probably find it since it's a bishop and pawn endgame. So that's why I went for this. I played bishop a6, king g5, bishop d3. But again, there's not much I can do. King g6, h6, h7 is a problem. White can also push the pawns. Can I make your own tournament with other streamers? Maybe. I mean, one thing that I will say about other streamers, I was very happy that when I early this morning when I saw Void Boy say that he played chess, is that I like doing stuff with streamers who've never like really played chess before. That like it is very fun. But someone who's actually like played as a kid and gotten somewhat decent, that to me is where I feel like I can make the biggest difference. So I'm kind of really psyched about the possibility of doing something down the road with like Void Boy, or maybe there are other streamers who are also like very decent chess players at some point. But yeah, thank you to Yas. Wait, what? Wait, sorry, no, is that the real one? Wait, thank you to Yasuo for this. Wait, no, is that the real Yasuo? Wait a second. Wait, oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you to Yasuo for the sub. Thank you to Zion to the Knicks for the sub as well. Oh my, wow. Okay, thank you so much to Yasuo for the sub. Of course, those of you who don't know who Yasuo is, he's a freaking legend. Oh my gosh, he's a complete legend at League of Legends. Oh my gosh, wow. Thank you so much to Yasuo. I'm glad that Yasuo likes chess, likes my stream. Thank you so much. Okay, so all right, chat. So back to this game. So bishop b2. I played knight to e6 here. We traded bishop a6 again. As I said, king g5, king g6 is a problem. Bishop d3, king g6, bishop b5. Again, if I go bishop e2, I mean, it's probably a little bit dank, honestly, but let me give you an example of an endgame which would be a draw here. So let's say here white were to blunder with pawn e5, and this is why pawns are really important. As the famous French dude said back in the 1800s, I think his name was Jacques-André Philidor, said in the old days, pawns are kind of the soul, they're the heart of chess. At this point, if white plays a move like e5 after king f7, h6, king e6 here, this is actually a draw, because the problem is now I can just keep the bishop on this diagonal forever, and the king and bishop basically prevent white from ever pushing any of these pawns up the board here. So at this point, this would be a draw, which is why you have to be very careful with the pawns and how you push them. Because like e5 is wrong. At the same time, you can't push this one because then you lose this one. So it's important here to play king g6. Idea to play h6. If I go bishop e2 to try and tickle the pawns and make the move up the board, white goes h6 here. If f4, I go bishop d3, and again, you have problems with the pin. So king g6 is important. Now f4, or sorry, I meant bishop e2. Yeah, white goes h6, h7 makes a queen, and black can pretty much just resign here. So I went bishop b5. Now Magnus plays f4. Again, making sure that I don't have time to bring the king and the bishop up the board and create any kind of blockade on the light squares here. So I played bishop e8, king g5, bishop c6 here, e5, bishop d5, and now after f5, played a few more moves. As you see, I'm not able to create the blockade on the light squares, and if the pawns get to the light squares, the dark squares are an issue, because white can then use the bishop to bring it into the game. King h7, e6, I played bishop c4, king f6, bishop e2, and now king e7. And here I resigned. In lieu of bishop takes h5, f6, and you'll notice the pawns support each other, and white is going to make a queen. The king guards all the key squares, and this is completely over here. So at this point, I resigned the game, which meant that Magnus took the lead 2-1. So let's keep going. Let's go to game 4, which I thought was maybe the computer will say something different, but I honestly thought, I didn't see most of the games in the event, to be fair, but I thought this was one of the absolute worst games worst games played by both sides, in my opinion. Okay, so I played d4, knight f6, I played c4, e6, knight f3, same as game 2. d5, knight c3, c6, and now I was really happy, because after c6, it's like game 4. So let me back up a second, chat. So game 4 in a match. When you're in a must-win situation in a match, with the white pieces, not the black pieces, let's start there. If you're in a must-win game with the black pieces, what happens is you take a lot of risks. You do something and you basically say, fuck it, I'm just going to go insane. I'm just going to throw the kitchen sink at my opponent. With white, it's a little bit different, because it's more, the onus is more on black to be solid. Black can be solid, be aggressive, and whatnot. Black sort of decides the course of the game. So I played bishop g5, and I was really happy, because honestly, at this point in a must-win game, you have to win the game. A draw does nothing, a loss does nothing. So after bishop g5, Magnus played knight bd7. I was really hoping he would take, and takes or h6, but basically the point being that if he plays h6, bishop h4, d4, e4, g5, bishop g3, b5. This is the Moscow variation of the semi-Slav, and this is very aggressive. As you see, black has an extra pawn here, but white has a big center. Black has created weaknesses around the king as well, so it's a very, very sharp position. And in a game where you need to win, I don't seem upset about losing today, which says a lot about Magnus Carlsen dominance. Wrong, chat. Absolutely wrong. So what it says is the reason I'm not upset is because I didn't really feel like I didn't feel like the quality was high. I felt like we both just kind of played bad chess. To be frank, I didn't feel like we really did anything special. If I felt, for example, that Magnus outplayed me start to finish, I would be unhappy. I wouldn't be angry, but I'd be a little bit unhappy. But to me, I felt like he did not really outplay me, first of all. And then secondly, I felt that we also both just played like completely bad chess. I'm not going to be over the top about it, but I did not think we were impressive today. I think you had a bad Zint for the prime. Game 3, yes, Magnus was better in game 3. He understood the structure better. But I felt that like game 4 was this game that we're looking at was absolutely horrendous. I mean, absolutely horrendous. So Magnus played knight d7, e3, queen a5, knight d2. He said I played well. I mean, I played fine in game 2. Game 1, actually, Chad, if we back up a second, I made a comment yesterday on Chess24. I said that in a perfect world, if you could have a combination of Fabiano and myself, you would have a player who is better than Magnus. And going back to, not really about the comment specifically, but game one of our match today was very, very similar, I felt, to the first rapid game of the World Championship match of the first World or not the first one, the World Championship match between Magnus and Fabiano, where basically Fabiano played very well, defended the whole game, and then Fabiano played one wrong move at the critical moment. Like, I don't know what the move number was. He played one wrong move, and that one wrong move slipped it. It turned it from being basically a draw, and the one move meant that Fabiano lost that game. And of course, after that, he couldn't recover and he lost the match. But game one to me was very, very similar to the game in the World Championship match between Fabiano and Magnus, the first tiebreak game. No beer today? Chat, no beer today? I had no idea that I wasn't drinking, but there you go, dude. Yeah. All right, so DC4 takes, knight c4, queen c7. Now this line brings a lot of great feelings to me. So if I go back approximately to 2007, I think it was. Let me see if I'm right. Let me find the game. Corsica. Let me see if my memory is not failing me. Okay, chat. So all right, let's pop this up. So this line brings very fond memories to me. Because as I'm going to pop up, there's a ChessBase article. We're going to see this. Oh my God, I look so young there. This is 2007. So in 2007, I won a tournament in Corsica. So let me backtrack and give you guys a good little story here for just a second. So as a fair amount of chat know, I went to college. I went to Dickinson College in 2006. Thank you to Zach Winter for the $25. So I went to college in 2006 in August. So I went one semester. I was like, okay, this whole thing's not working. I dropped out in January of 2007. And my real break in chess sort of started around this time. So in I believe it was, I think it was, when was it? It was like September, I think it was. There was this round robin tournament that I played in Barcelona, Spain. So I played this round robin tournament. I won the tournament. I had a great result. It was called the Barcelona Casino Tournament. And top left chat, exactly. So yeah, so I won this tournament in Barcelona, and around round 6 or 7, I think a friend of mine, I forget who it was, they said, well, look, there's this tournament in Corsica right after Barcelona. Why don't you go and play it? And so, you know, I looked and I thought, okay, well, if I win this tournament, I'll probably go. And so we had our tickets, my mom and I, where we're going to Barcelona. Then we're coming back to the United States. And then finally around like round 8, as I'm about to win the tournament, I'm like, okay, you know what? We're why don't we just, life is an adventure. Let's have some fun. Let's go to Corsica. That is a picture from 2007. So yeah, so I went to Corsica, and the reason that I started talking about memories is that in order to qualify to play in the knockout tournament in Corsica, I had to win an open event to get into the finals. And in this event, I played against the German grandmaster Daniel Friedman. He is the husband of a former U.S. women's champion, Anna Zatonski. I played him, and we played this line, and I beat him in the rapid game. So this brings back a lot of good memories. And then keeping into with the story, I remember this very well because I did win the tournament. As you see here, you'll see 8 points. Hikaru wins the tournament. So then I qualified for the knockout event. So then there was, as you see, results of the final knockout. Oh, they don't show it correctly. Okay. Anyway, they don't show it correctly. But what happened is in the knockout, I ended up beating Viktor Mikhailevsky from Israel. I don't forget who else I beat, but in the final, I beat Rustam Kasimdzhanov, who is the current trainer for Fabiano Caruana. So, but anyway, the point was, I remember this very well because, like, I went to Corsica, and at the time, Europe was, this great superpower, and the euro was so strong, and I actually won that tournament. And at that time, when I won the event, I think I made 17,000 euros, but because the euro was so strong, it was like 1.5 or something better. I ended up making like 30 grand in US dollars. And so I remember that really well. And it's like, that was a very special kind of time, because that's when I started the ascent towards becoming a professional chess player and reaching the top 10. So, all right, chat, let's go back to the game. So that's why this whole line brings memories. But during the game, I thought for a little bit here. And, I remembered in the old days, I would always play G3 and Bishop G2. No, it was 30 grand. Maybe it was 20,000 euros. But I just mean the exchange rate was insane at that time. So it was like 1.5 or something to 1. So yeah. But anyway, okay, let's keep going. So I played bishop e2. As I said before, I played g3, both against Daniel Fridman, but also, I think I played g3 against Boris Gelfand in the Tal Memorial. Let's see, chat. Let's see if I'm right. Nakamura, Gelfand, Tal Memorial. Let's see. Are we right? It was like 2009. Let's see if my memory is not failing me, even though I'm drinking. Maybe it's 2011. It wasn't 2009. Let's see, chat. Am I right? Wait, what? That's let's see. Nakamura, Aronian. Wait, where's Gelfand? Oh, no, it wasn't 2009. I think it's 2010 or 2009, not 2011. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. One second, chat. I'm trying to find it. I think it was 2010. Okay, there we go. No, I don't want to see that ugly dude. Let's see. Nakamura, Alyanov, games. Okay. Gelfand. Let's see. Am I right? Am I right, chat? Let's see. Drum roll. Am I right? Let's see. Let's see if I'm not insane for a second. So the game, I think it was 2010. Let's see. Am I right? Okay, I played Rook C1 first, but yes, I am right because I am just insane. But yeah, so I played Rook C1 in that game first. The game kind of ended, petered out. He got in this key C5 pawn break at the right moment. And we just dawdled around. And C5, and we drew the game as a long game, of course. But yeah, so the point I was going to make, chat, is I had very fond memories, both because of the game against Fridman in 2007, but then also the game against Gelfand in 2010. But I knew that this is objectively not the best, so that's why I decided to play bishop e2. And the point behind playing this line, by the way, chat, is that in the Cambridge Springs, there are a lot of lines that are very sharp here. But I felt that in a must-win game where you have white in the last game, you should play something slow, like very slow, where you keep pieces on the board, you kind of maneuver and just kind of move it around and all that stuff. So a3, b4. Of course, important here that if black can activate these bishops essentially on the diagonals, black will be doing very well. So I played b4 here. He went rook d8, castles, b6. Now I played bishop f3, bishop a6. Logical move. Again, the point behind playing this structure specifically was that I figured if Magnus breaks with c5 at the right moment, then it's completely fine. But if he doesn't, then white could be much better. So it's sort of a 50-50 proposition. If he doesn't do it at the right moment, then I'm going to be much better. Did I drink yet? No, Chad. I've only been drinking for the last hour. Thank you to Mr. Danger Mouse for the sub with Prime. Thank you so much. Okay, so bishop a6. I played queen b3. Rook c8. Of course, black wants to play c5, but you gotta create some space for the rook first. Rook c1, c5. And honestly, Chad, at this point, I was like, you know what? It's like, okay, Magnus, he played a good game 3. The first 2 games were kind of a wash, but what can I do? And then right around this point, I think if those of you who are watching the broadcast probably would notice that I started I wasn't laughing, but it's like, okay, whatever. It's just a draw. And at this point, Magnus proceeded to completely go insane and play queen b8, which is still fine, I think, objectively, but completely insane. At this point, I was like, okay, he can go knight e5, he can go c4, he can go queen e5, like any move, and black draws the game, and we have no drama. But Magnus here decided to play queen b8, which is completely insane. Now, mind you, it's still probably a draw with correct play. So trades, and this is also the second point where it's tricky. So here, I played bc5, which is not the best move, and I knew it wasn't the best move at the time, but the game was a must-win game. So knight c5 is objectively the best move, but the problem is when we reach this rook and pawn endgame after rook c8, c6, bishop a3, at this point, it's just basically a draw. Opposite color bishops, even material, and nothing really for me to do. So that's why I decided, I'll play this slightly dubious move. Because again, if it's a draw, it's a draw. Who really cares? That doesn't do anything for anybody. So I took with the pawn. Now Magnus plays rook c8, c6, and knight e5, rook c3 takes, and now he goes king f8. And at this point, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm up a pawn. It's going to be a draw, and that's life. But Magnus decides here to completely go ridiculously insane, which is why, as I said, chat, as I said before, honestly, this game 4, I feel like we both should have been fined. I feel like we both should have been fined. Like if we were in not Mother Russia, sorry, if we were in the Soviet Union in like the 1950s or something, like we would have been like smacked around because the way we played the next like 5 moves, I mean, the way Magnus played and then the way I messed it up later was just like, I mean, I have no words. I have no words to say how bad this was. So Magnus goes king f8. Okay, this is still fine. I go rook d1. Again, knight c5 is objectively the best, but after takes, rook b6, like rook c1, king e7. This is going to be a draw, king d6 and rook c7. So I play rook d1 again. I know it's not the best move, but I have to try to win the game. And now king e8, rook d7. And now suddenly out of nowhere, Magnus again completely loses his mind. Bishop f6 is fine, rook c5. Takes. And now here, for some reason, Magnus does not play rook c8, which actually I realized during the game, if he goes rook c8, my knight is dominated. So if we trade, look at this knight. No activity. c3 and b2 are cut. The pawn is stuck. No access to b6 or c5. And thank you, Fan2on, LOL, for the prime sub. Thank you so much. And big fat draw. So I did not understand this rook c5 move. I mean, pretty much the last like 5 moves by Magnus were, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but they were bad moves, like really bad moves. Mind you, I have my own howler later in the game, so I'm not only going to be critical of Magnus's move here. So knight e4, f5, knight g3. At this point, I was really confused. It's like, okay, white's up a pawn. I can push the a pawn. The bishop is passive. Knight is good. And it's like, wait, what is going on? Is Magnus like, what's he doing? So g6, a4, king f7, knight e2. Again, I want to activate the knight. I can't just use the rook and the pawn, so I need to try and get my knight around to some key squares here. And if I get the knight around to like f3, then I'm doing pretty well. So yeah, so I decided to go knight e2, king f6, rook a6 again. Keep pressure on the pawn on e6 here. Rook b2, knight f4, king f7, knight d3. And at this point, it's important to note that I can't take on e6 because then there's bishop h4, and black attacks the base of the pawn chain and collects the pawn on f2 here. So yeah, it's like Ceci was loving you madly right now. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was weird. Like these 5 moves from Magnus were just utterly insane. I didn't understand it. So it's just like, I mean, this is why I say we both should have been fined. Like we should have had our money revoked by the state or whatever, however you want to put it, because we both played like this whole thing was just disgraceful by both of us. So rook a2, rook a7, king f6 here. Played f4. Idea to put the knight on e5, maybe create some threats against the pawn on h7 here. Bishop d6, of course. I can give you my account number, no problem. So one problem in this position for white here, technically speaking, is that black can put the rook on d2. And don't worry, the state will take some of the money. It's called taxes. Exactly, chat. Exactly, chat. Yeah. So no, if I play rook h7, so there definitely are issues here. So yeah, so the first issue is that basically, if we take off the knight and bishop, let's just say I'm just going to make some random moves. First of all, if we reach this endgame with the rook and the extra pawn, this is technically speaking a draw here. Even though the computer says white is better, this is a draw. So the first issue when we look at this position is that the bishop and knight are off the board as a draw. Second issue is that if I take the pawn and we ever reach some kind of assortment of this 4 versus 3 with rooks or rook, bishop, and rook and knight on the board, this is also a draw. So commentator said knight e5 after rook a2, but what's it do? King f6? F4 g5? This actually kind of concerned me. Maybe it's just winning. Rook a7. Oh, rook a7. Maybe this is winning. It's still tricky. It's hard to prove. But yeah, it makes some sense. I played this. So the problem here also, secondary problems. If I go a5 here, black goes rook d2. And the knight is kind of stuck. because I can't go to E. If I go to C1, he has check and he wins the knight. If I go to E1, he goes rook D1, king F1, bishop B4, and he wins the knight. I can't go to C5 because he takes. If I go to E5, he takes, and it's a draw again. So this looks right. So I played rook A6, and now I played knight E5. This, of course, is correct. Takes, and now here I think Magnus blundered. He should have played G5 and probably reached the same position as in the game, and it's a draw with correct play. But Magnus played king D7, and now I think after H4, this is probably just winning for white, honestly. Because after H6, we reach the same thing. I go A5, G5, takes. Thank you to Jinja Ninja for the 2 months. Thank you to AVGXP for the gifted sub to Weirdest Bug. Thank you so much. Actually, not take, sorry. I play H5, of course. And the point is, when we reach this endgame, as you'll see later on, I can always make a check and push the pawn, and I can also go rook A8, rook H8, and capture, and run this one up the board as well. So I don't know if this is actually winning by force, but this is probably very, very good for white. Whereas after king G2, G5, you'll notice I don't get H4. Now black gets the pawns rolling with the pawns on H4 and G4 here. And at this point, it's a draw. So I should not have played king G2. I should have played H4. And maybe it's winning with correct play. Hard to judge. So I played king G2, and now after G5, around this point, I started laughing at basically how pathetic we both were in this game in general. So those of you who are watching the stream, you probably started seeing me like laughing. It was just like a absolute disgust at how bad at chess we both are. So I checked. I would go back A5, H5 check, A6, H4, and for some reason in this whole line, I also forgot that after rook B6, Magnus could just go king D7, king C6, king D5. Would I H4 here? No, not here. You mean like here I'd H4? Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, takes. Nah, I don't think this is enough here. Two best players in the world, so bad. Yeah. Yeah, not very good, to put it mildly. But yeah, anyway, so I played rook D6. I went A6, H4, and now king D7, H3. Nothing I can do here. It's already basically a draw. And now we just repeat moves, and with it, Magnus won the match 2.5, 1.5. Why did I play king G2? I wasn't sure what I was doing. I lost my mind, but we both lost our mind in this whole game. We both played some really mediocre moves. I wouldn't say I wasn't even nervous. I think the whole thing is I never should have played knight E5 in the first place. I should have gone like, I don't know, A5 or H4. Anything except knight E5 makes more sense. Can't believe these two terrible chess players got to the final. What a low quality tournament. Sasha said it in the beginning, 2 incredible semis, probably 1 boring final. Yeah, I mean, the semifinals were a lot of fun. I mean, I honestly felt that Game 3, Magnus played well. Game 2, I thought I played well. Game 1, of course, Magnus put pressure and I blundered, but I did not think the quality in Game 4 to me really soured the whole match. Like, if Magnus had played good moves and drawn, I would have said overall the quality was relatively good. But in Game 4, we both played some bad moves, to put it mildly. So after rook A2 here, we just repeat. We made the draw, and so Magnus won the match. All the credit in the world to him. Very weird event, I felt overall. I wasn't really sure like what was going on. I mean, very, very strange. I felt that I think the semifinals were actually much better objectively instead of the final. I thought that Magnus against Ding was phenomenal. Fabiano against me was also a lot of fun. Prize money did not cloud my judgment, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. But it is what it is. I finished in second place. Take home second prize, which I think is 45 grand. So it's definitely something, considering that I'm basically retired from chess at this point. So what to do? But all right, you guys, I'm gonna run to the restroom really quickly, and then we'll be back to discuss a little bit more about the final, and then I'll probably play some blitz or let you guys know about the upcoming plans. Obviously, I have to start another tournament on frickin' Tuesday, so I don't get any kind of rest anymore. As much as I'd love to stream for 12 hours every day, like my hero XQC, and do all kinds of variety, I actually have to play a tournament on Tuesday, so it's a very, very busy schedule. But I'll be right back, you guys. Just gonna run the restroom, and we'll be back in a second. Thank you to Disruptive Pie for the sub with Prime. Thank you to Supreme Wi-Fi for the 2 months as well. Thank you so much. So, all right, chat. So Retired, I'm joking, Chad. I'm joking. But again, there are no chess tournaments that can be played over the board, so what can you do at this point, honestly? 7,000 plus viewers, very low in my opinion. Yeah. All right, chat. So let's take a deep breath. Relax. Okay. All right. So chat. Speaking of upcoming plans, I am going to be playing in the FIDE Nations Cup, which I believe starts in like, I don't know, very soon. It starts in 2 days, I think it is. Let me see if I can make a new graphic. 1 second, chat. Actually, whatever. I'll just make a new window. Okay. All right. 1 second, chat. Let me find this. Okay. 1 second. Where's the list? Okay. Okay. Sorry, chat. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, I have to just pull this up. Okay, there we go. Sorry, 1 second. I'll just add that as an image. 1 second, chat. Yeah, it's a team tournament. So there's the FIDE Nations Cup, which is essentially going to be, I guess, just like any other event. Honestly, it's going to be like the Olympiad, where you have a set of teams, and it's going to be 4-player teams. It'll be 3 male, 1 female. Let me pull this. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to add an image. 1 second, chat. You guys can see it now. Okay. So, all right, chat. There you guys go. This is going to be the field. I'm going to make this really big so you guys can see it. It'll cover most of the screen. This event will be starting on. This event will be starting, I believe, on May 5th. So it's going to be the FIDE Nations Cup. So it's 3 male, 1 female is going to be the list. So you'll see the teams. You have a team from China. You have a team from India. You have a team from the United States of America, of course. And you have you've got a lot of teams from around the world. You've got China, U.S., Europe, India, Russia, rest of the world. So yeah, this event starts on Tuesday. So basically it will be a team event, 4 players on each side, three male, 1 female, who will be playing. So basically for the American team, it will be myself on board 1, because our team captain decided I should be board 1 because I beat Fabiano in the match. Whatever. I mean, for the team situation, it's probably better if I'm not board 1, but you know, he decided I beat Fabiano in our match, so I have to play board 1. Even though the goal is to win the event, so what to do? So yeah, I'm board 1. Fabiano is board 2. Lenny is board 3. Wesley will be the reserve, and then there are 2 females, Irina Krush and Anna Zatonsky, both former U.S. Women's Champions. Yeah. So basically 3 males play, 1 female plays. I believe I'm going to be playing like 7 or 8 games. I don't know how many games exactly I'll play. But it'll be starting on, I believe, Tuesday. So it's going to be a big event. Kranvik is the captain of India. Yeah, exactly. So big event. I think first prize is, let me see if I can pull it up. I'll do another. Let me pull up the prize. I think I can show that to you guys. Let me see that. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna do a new image. So 1 second, chat. Let me pull this up. I think I can show this to you guys. So just give me 1 second. Bear with me, chat. I'll pull up a graphic in 1 second. No, that's not what I want. Second. Okay, so first things first. There's that. Okay, I don't actually see the prizes right off, so I can't show them to you, but I will pop this up. Just give me 1 second, chat. I gotta take care of the screenshot. I'm gonna show you guys the schedule. Okay, so it will be on chess.com starting on Tuesday. This will be the Nations Cup. Here's the schedule, you guys. Okay, so let me close this one. Yeah, so all right, you guys. Those of you who are wondering, here is the schedule as well. It will be starting on May 5th. Let me move this up. Sorry. It'll be starting on May 5th. Magnus is not playing as well. It's May 5th. It starts at 1 p.m. Or 9 a.m. Eastern time, 6 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. GMT, or 2 p.m. Central Eastern European time. It will be 10 rounds. I will probably play like 6 rounds. Thank you, Jeff Kaplan, 25 for the Prime. Thank you so much. It'll be like 6 rounds is my guess. So 6 rounds, or not 6 rounds, sorry, 10 rounds, but I'll play like 6 rounds. Top, I think 4 teams qualify for a knockout or some kind of final. So it'll be, it'll be pretty early, unfortunately. Thank you to Zodiac Zero for the 200 bits. Thank you so much. So it's a big event. It's coming up. It will be Rapid Chess. Yes, you guys will be Rapid Chess. No Title Tuesday for me. If there is a Title Tuesday, I'm totally going to play. So, I don't really care. I'll play. I'll be like Sasha. I can play this and then play Title Tuesday as well. So yeah, someone says no Sasha. This is true. There is no Sasha, which is kind of honestly weird. I mean, come on, get out of here. Like, Andreykin over Sasha? Yeah, okay then. That I don't understand at all, but it's like when I look at the Russian team, you've got Nepomniachtchi, Artemiev, Karyakin, all 3 guys very talented, very strong players, but Andreykin over Sasha is just kind of weird. I am not allowed to stream, unfortunately, chat. Apparently they're worried about like cheating and other stuff, so I can't stream it as much as I want to. But again, it is what it is, unfortunately. So what to do? But that's how it goes. So right, so I will be board 1, Fabiano is board 2, Lenier is board 3, and then Wesley will be the reserve. The reason I'll be number 1 is based off of rapid ratings, and Fabiano is 2 based off of rapid ratings as well, I believe. So that's the order that we're going with in the event. I'm really looking forward to it. Who knows how it's going to go? Obviously, it's going to be weird that basically I get tomorrow off, and then Tuesday I have to just jump right back into another event. But it is what it is. Hey, I get to stay at home, wear Hawaiian shirts, drink with you guys, and just chill, honestly, so why not? Will it be streamed on chess.com? Yes, it will be. Title Tuesday will be on Tuesday, right after the Nations Cup, so yes, chat. In case you want to know my schedule for this week, I will be playing Title Tuesday after the Nations Cup on Tuesday, so what to do?